Alright, so we are now recording. There's a few cameras on the outside of the helicopter. There's also one right here in front. You can wave to that camera there. You'll be able to see that video, and everything else will capture along the way at the very end of the lobby there. So be sure to check that out before you go. And also just double checking to make sure we all had a chance to watch that safety briefing video, right? Awesome, man. Double checking those seat belts. Should be low and tight. And we look good. Alright. Are we all set, ready to go? Alright, let's spool up, go have some fun.
Lost without a trace at all. Left their writings on the wall. Famous battles of long ago. Where did all the people go? I wish I knew what happened there. See them live among the stars. Come on, Kanye, won't you?
Alright, just worked our way out of the airspace there, so the microphones are back to being active again. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you'd like to talk to each other, that's fun as well. And we'll start by heading into the Honolulu Valley just ahead of us here. And as we're making our way across the island today, there may be a couple of bumps here and there with the wind, especially over some of the ridgelands we'll be crossing. So that is completely normal and nothing to worry about if we do feel any of those bumps here today. But it should be a very smooth ride for us. And just below us along that power line trail, that's one of the only access roads out here to this area. So you actually hike or bike that the whole way into the next valley over. Down in the actual Honolulu Valley below us, there's very limited access due to how dense the jungle is below. So even the sides of the hills look like a moss from the air. There are actually 30 and 40 foot ohia trees and about 10 foot ferns. So very, very dense trying to navigate here. And we have a few different waterfalls throughout this valley. Some of these are spring fed and are flowing all the time, and a lot of these are rain dependent. So the more rain we get, the more waterfalls we'll see. So it's always changing around here. And coming up at the back of this valley here, this bigger mountain in front of us going up into the clouds is called Mount Waialeale. That's our tallest point on the island, just over 5,000 feet. And it's also our wettest spot with about 450 inches of rainfall every single year. So that's the wettest spot anywhere in the world. In the world, yep. So at the very top of this mountain here, so it's almost always raining, and then a cloud at the very top there. Every once in a while, they'll be kind of clear in the morning. So this morning and yesterday morning, actually the first 2 mornings, I've seen the top of that mountain here in months. So it's almost always a kind of encased in the cloud there. And usually after about 8, 9 o'clock, it clouds back up again. Just ahead of us in the very bottom of this valley off to our right, so we'll see 2 waterfalls right next to each other. These are called Twin Falls. A little bit closer there.
Do people hike into those falls?
Not back to this one, so there's no access trails or roads back here. You can kind of like bushwhack your way back here, but it'll be very, very tough to do so. I had one friend that did actually tried that, and there was no like marked trails to kind of find his way back here. It took him 16 hours to get back here, and said it was not worth it. Approaching the front side of Mount Waialeale, which is also the extinct volcano that formed Kauai here. So this is a shield volcano. It has walls on 3 sides and a big opening out the front. And down below us where the river is now, that's where all the lava used to flow, and it leads to this big hole in front of us. And that's what's left of the Waialeale crater.
Just for a day, our king and queen would visit all these islands and saw everything. How would they feel about the changes of our land? Could you just imagine if they were around and saw highways on the sacred grounds, how would they feel about this modern city life? Tears would come from each other's eyes as they would start to realize that our people are in great, great danger now.
And now you can tell everyone you've been inside a volcano.
Would their smiles be content than and cry for the gods, cry for the people, cry for the land that was taken away, and then yet you'll find a way. Could you just imagine it? They came.
And just ahead of us are our eastern shores. That's the Wailuan Kauai areas to the left, and then the big Lihue and the airport area directly ahead. And we'll start making our way southbound.
Tears would come from each other's eyes as they would start to realize that our land is in great, great danger now. All the fighting that the king had done to conquer all these islands, now there's condominiums. How would he feel if he saw a baby nest? How would he?
And how's everyone doing so far? So good? Awesome. So up front we have Lori and Glenn. So where are you both visiting from? Right from there?
Carmel, Indiana.
Indiana. And is this your first time to Kauai here?
It's Glenn's first time, my third. My
Okay.
daughter and son-in-law got married here in 2013.
Okay, so you told them how cool it was, how to come check it out, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. Is there any special case brings you out for this trip or just a vacation for you here?
just a vacation.
Nice.
We went to Oahu for a week, and now we're here for 8 days.
Awesome. A little more laid back here, a little bit slower pace, which I kind of like on Kauai here.
Much prefer.
Okay, enjoying your time here so far, I hope? Liking it?
Absolutely.
That's what I like to hear. We're glad to have you aboard.
Thank you.
We also have Brian and Carly with us, so how about you two, where you're visiting from?
We're visiting from Michigan,
Michigan. What part of Michigan are you from?
Detroit area.
Okay, my sister lives just north of Grand Rapids there in Michigan, so I've been there a few times. Is this your first time to Kauai?
Yes.
Nice. What brings you both out? Any special occasions for you?
Our honeymoon.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome place to have it. And what do you think of the Garden Island here so far? You enjoying it?
It's so beautiful. I feel like we're in Jurassic Park.
We are. This is where it was filmed, so we are in fact in Jurassic Park. And I'm glad to have you aboard as well. We also have Denise and Dale with us. So how about you two? Where are you both visiting from?
We are now from the panhandle of Florida, but just moved there 2 years ago from Montana.
Okay. And is this your first time to Kauai?
It is my first.
Okay. What do you both think of the island here so far? You enjoying it?
Love it. It is so lush and gorgeous.
Very lush, very green. That's why I call it the Garden Island. What's really cool about this island specifically is about 75% of the island is uninhabited and inaccessible unless you see it from the air like we are right now. So a lot left ahead of us here. And then just ahead is the very south shore with the Poipu area and some of the resorts, and we'll kind of make our way westbound into a couple of the bigger valleys. And I'm from Pennsylvania myself, so I grew up on the East Coast. I was flying there for a couple of years, and then went to Juneau, Alaska for about a year. I was flying to the glaciers up there for about a season, and then came here to Kauai almost 2 years ago now. Been flying here ever since. It's just an awesome place to fly. And then just ahead of us, past the town on top of the hill, you'll see some darker green fields that go the whole way to the ocean. Those are all coffee trees and a part of the Kauai Coffee Company plantation there. And that's actually the biggest plantation for coffee anywhere in the U.S. And they also have a big visitor center. You can try all different kinds of their products there. And a beautiful, you get great visibility. You can see all the way out to the island of Niihau there in front of us on the horizon. That's about 18 miles off the coast of Kauai. So we got great visibility here today. And then just ahead of us, we're heading into the big Hanapepe Valley and a few other bigger waterfalls I'll show you here. The first big waterfall we're flying to just up ahead is called Manawaiapuna. That's its Hawaiian name. It's more commonly referred to though as Jurassic Falls. So if you've seen Jurassic Park, when the helicopter lands in front of that big waterfall towards the beginning, that's the same one we're flying to just up ahead. So they flew the same valley. And there's going to be some other waterfalls throughout the valley on the left and right hand sides, but Jurassic Falls is that big one directly ahead. And I'll be doing a few turns so we can all get some good views. And then these waterfalls ahead are the Kahili Falls. And we'll keep making our way westbound here over the ridgeline, then on to the drier side of the island, and the canyons next. And this whole valley we're over top of with these waterfalls and the one coming up ahead of us are all privately owned by the Robinson family. So there's no access roads or trails back here, only reachable via helicopter. And that family all came here from New Zealand originally in the 1860s. And they bought the island of Niihau first, which is just off the coast of Kauai. They bought that from King Kamehameha, and then a few years later, bought all this land we're flying over now. So they own about 55,000 acres here on Kauai alone, and about 46,000 acres on the island of Niihau, which we can just see on the horizon there. So they are the largest private landowners here on Kauai. A little bit closer there.
Any idea what they paid for it back then?
Yep, so I know the island, they paid about $10,000 in gold at the time, when that's like roughly around $300,000 to $400,000 like nowadays. and that island is now worth around 90 million in today's currency, so they made a really good investment out there. The actual land over top of it's even more than that. We're not sure the exact price here. But what's really cool about them owning all this land is they're actually preserving this. So whenever they purchase it from the king, it is so with a promise to preserve it the way they found it, and they've kept that promise to this day. So no roads, no houses, and no developing back. This is pretty much all untouched, including this big valley ahead called Oro Kele Canyon. And you can see it's much drier here on this half. We get about half the amount of rainfall here on this side as we do the eastern half behind us. So our typical wind and rain patterns come from the northeast, and they hit these big ridge lines which soaks up all that moisture, and then creates like a rain shadow here on the west and southern sides. So everything behind us is all privately owned. Everything ahead of us, though, coming up is all public access and owned by the state of Hawaii. So this is all a part of Waimea Canyon, also known as the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. There's a few bigger valleys here in Waimea. This first one just ahead is called Wailai. And coming up in the back of this valley off to our right side, we'll see another waterfall called Wailai Falls. And all these waterfalls below are coming off of the Alakai Swamp, which is just ahead of us here. So this 14-mile plateau is the highest swamp anywhere in the world at just over 4,000 feet of elevation. And that's where the majority of all of our fresh water will come from. And the volcano here shaped the initial design of the island when it was formed. And then each of the rivers in the valleys below carve the depths of them as we see them here today. Just years and years of water erosion. And you'll also see a lot of red dirt on the side of the hills, and that has to do with the high iron content of all the lava rock just below it. So when it reaches the surface, that iron will oxidize just like rust does to give it that reddish tint. And there's only one access road out here to Waimea. So Highway 50 is actually just ahead of us and goes the whole way around the upper edge. And allows some good views along that entire drive. And there's two main overlooks. The one off to our left is actually being renovated right now, so it's still under construction for a little bit longer. And then there's one more kind of off to the right, hidden by some of those trees. But the whole way along that drive is just some awesome views. And then directly ahead of us is the very western side of the island. That's where the Barking Sands Naval Base is, close to Polahali Beach. And once you reach Polahali Beach, that's the farthest west you can drive on this side of the island. So we're approaching the Napali coast next, and there's no roads in front of us, and you get the whole way around to the northern side of the island. And then we also have some animals in the forest area just below, including some wild pigs, some black-tailed deer, and some wild goats. And those are all introduced to the island here, so none of those aren't native. And we also have lots and lots of chickens here, as I'm sure you've noticed. So there's no natural predators here on Kauai. That's why there's so many of the chickens running around. All day today there's almost no wind, so that water is just looking glassy and absolutely beautiful the whole way around the island today. And these white dome-shaped buildings, that's the NASA tracking facility, which is a part of the Pacific Missile Range. So this is the first line of defense for any ballistic missile interception for the western United States. And everything over this next ridgeline is all a part of the Napali coast. this beach off to our right side is the Hanapu Beach, which is only reachable by boat. And there's a little archway in that rock, that's the Hanapu Sea Arch. And that's been used in quite a few different movies, including Pirates of the Caribbean and many others.
Have you seen these islands? Have you seen the beauty of this land? Do you know its people? Brothers, sisters walking hand in hand. Have you seen?
And this is the big valley of Hanapu, also known as the Valley of the Kings.
Miles and miles of crystal deep.
So all the chiefs and kings that used to rule here on Kauai were all laid to rest in the sides of these cliffs in secret caves. So this whole valley here is an ancient burial ground.
This is aloha. This is aloha. This is aloha. This land of Hawaii. Have you felt the power? Mountain craters throwing lava in the air, or its green swept beauty. From each island blossoms everywhere. Have you felt its spirit? Ancient gods, their mana still lives here. You will love these islands. Nothing in the world can compare. This is a
And this next beach on our right side, this is the Kalalau Beach, which is the final stop for the hiking trail that goes the whole way along the coastline. So that trail is 11 miles each direction and also requires a special permit to hike and camp out below. So it goes the whole way along the coast, all the way up ahead to Ka'e Beach where it begins. And we'll do a turn here and get a good view of the cathedrals just behind it.
Have you felt the power? Mountain craters throwing lava in the air, or its green swept beauty.
So just behind that beach with all these ridges and spires you'll see in the mountains, these are called the cathedrals. And these are all from wind and rain erosion over the years.
Its spirit, ancient gods, their mana still is here. Colored rainbows stretch across the sky. Waterfalls so high, mountains make you cry. You will love these islands. Nothing in the world can compare. If you touch the spirit, then the gift of love will
And the big valley ahead of us is called Kalalau. And if you drive the whole way around Waimea Canyon, it brings you to an overlook at the very top of this ridgeline and it gives you an incredible view.
How long does that drive typically take?
So if you're leaving from like the Lahue airport area, it's about an hour and a half to the end of the road there. Yeah, typically if you start at the airport, it's like an hour and a half each direction. It's like an hour and a half to the very end of the road on the North Shore, about an hour and a half to the end of Waimea there. And that famous Kauai trail is just below us here, right along the coastline. It goes all the way up to Kauai Beach where it begins. So on the water here, it's only 6 miles straight line distance, but because of the trail going in and out of all the valleys and up and over all the ridgelines, it turns into an 11-mile hike.
I see nothing that looks like a trail.
What's that?
I see nothing that looks like a trail.
It's a real narrow little walking path. You can just see it there in a few spots, especially right here.
I see it now.
Yep, those switchbacks. This is called Crawler's Ledge. So it comes with a very narrow trail to a very steep drop-off with loose terrain, so be very, very careful there. And this valley on the right is about a halfway point. So I did that trail for the first time this past summer with some friends. It's a very, very difficult hike, but some incredible views the whole way. And then also coming up in the seawalls here to our right, there's some caves that go inside of these walls. And these are the Honolulu Sea Caves inside.
Did you go in them?
When I kayaked, we did. So when you're hiking, you're on top of it the whole way. I kayaked it about a month after I hiked it, and we started at the beach in front of us, and we kayaked down. There's a few caves here and a few down the way you kind of go into it, but it's nice and calm. It's super calm below here today.
How long did it take you to kayak?
So about half the time of the hike out to the beach is about 8 hours. It takes about 3.5 to 4 hours to kayak down to that beach. So a little nicer kayaking and a little bit more relaxed, I think. But both had their each of their own cool perspectives for sure. And all the trails within the Poly Coast, they all begin off to our right side. This is Kauai Beach, which is a part of Hawaiian State Park. So that's the very end of the road on the North Shore and where the Poly Coast begins. And we'll climb up here a little bit higher, get one last view of the entire Poly Coast, then we'll continue on ahead. Couple of jet skis down below. He's doing donuts around him or something. Not sure what he's doing.
And what's the name of that state park over there?
So this is Hawaiian State Park. Yep, so that's the very end of the road here. And that does require a day pass to get into. Usually a day or two in advance is enough to secure a spot there.
Is that close to the botanical garden?
It is. It's just past the botanical garden. Yep. So just past the botanical garden, that's actually right here to our right. So it's the parking lot, and then just to the left of that, on the hill there, the building is the botanical garden. That's the Limahuli Botanical Garden there. Then if you follow the road down here in front, this turns into the Hawaiian Beach Park. And it's looking beautiful there today. The light turquoisey green is the more shallow parts, and then the darker the blue, the deeper the water. And then with this big reef area, this is called Tunnels Beach. It's one of our more famous ones. That's named after all the tunnel formations and the lava rocks. So some of the best snorkeling and diving areas right at Tunnels.
Which peak that we passed by considered Bali High?
That was the last peak there. So right behind the botanical garden, that's what we call Bali High. And then all these homes to the right are part of the town of Hawaiian. So the main highway is just behind the houses there. That goes right through the town along the coastline. And then directly in front of us, this is all part of the Princeville area, all the homes in the golf course, and then the big Hanalei Bay just to its right side.
We'll be able to see the condos we're staying in.
Are you staying in Hanalei?
We're in Princeville,
Oh, Princeville, okay.
but you can see this peak right here from where we're staying.
Gotcha. Yep, so Princeville is right ahead of the big cliff faces there. And this bigger rock face here, they actually call this like the Dragon Rock. So if you've heard of the song Puff the Magic Dragon, that's what this rock here is kind of based off of. So this is kind of like its head in front, and it goes down its spine into its tail. So in the song, it's the, he lives by the sea, and it's by, and the song is the town of Honolulu. This is the town of Hanalei that's based off of. And then this is the big Lumahai beach just below us.
That's the area we were standing up above and looking down a couple days ago.
The dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind.
And we're now back on the windward side of the island here, so we get a lot more wind, rain, and weather on this half. That's why it's so much greener with all the extra trees and foliage.
You find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow.
And this is the town of Hanalei just off to our left. And all these square ponds and fields around that town, those are all the taro fields. So taro is that bigger root vegetable they'll use to make into poi and many other things.
Do you like poi?
I'm not a huge fan myself. I've had it, and it's actually better if you do pair it with something like teriyaki chicken or like a salted pork. Has some flavor, but by itself it's not very good. It's kind of like a bland taste, but the reason that it's so bland is when the first Hawaiians, when they brought it here, poi was like one of their main, their staple foods, because they would heavily salt their fish and their pork to preserve it. So it'd be so salty, so they want something bland and kind of cut it. So if you eat it with something, made traditionally, it does kind of balance each other out. But by itself, yeah, it's an acquired taste. And this bigger mountain off to our right side going up into the clouds is called Mamalokama. It's about 4,000 feet to the very top. And it has a waterfall in the very center of this one. It's called Waioli Falls. So this is where you can see from the main highway and kind of the overlooking Hanalei.
I also on the faces of people passing by, I see friends shaking and singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon.
Now the black spots that we're looking at are dry falls, right?
Correct, yep. So if we get a big, heavy rainfall, we can see some of those and sometimes even all of those turn to waterfalls. And they can last for either a couple of hours or even a couple of days, depending on how much rain we get. So those are all kind of temporary and will come and go. This one in the center is always flowing here. So there's like how there's in a cloud right now, it's like always pretty wet up top there. So there's like a little reservoir that's always has some water to feed some of these waterfalls. Then if it rains, it'll just get bigger and bigger. But the amount of waterfalls on the island is always changing, so no one knows the exact number. And as we make our way into the winter season, we'll get a lot more rain here, some more storms. So we'll typically see a lot more waterfalls here. So most of the ones we're seeing today are all spring-fed. And this is the Hanalei Valley we're entering back into. So this is where we first started our flight. We did a full loop of the whole island. So off to our right, that's where the volcano was, and then the very south shore we saw earlier. Ahead of us are the big Kahilivai Mountains and the eastern shores on the other side. And then off to our left is the North Shore and Princeville area. And then just ahead of us, this is the Kilauea area. You'll pass that along to the north, on the way to the North Shore. That's where the Kilauea Lighthouse is. And you may have heard of Mark Zuckerberg has a big house here on the island. That's the big Facebook guy. So he actually lives to the right side of Kilauea near the shoreline there. I think he has close to like 1,000 acres of land he's building his big house on right now. And we are starting to make our way back into the airport area. So I'll be a little busy talking with other pilots making our way back in for landing. So I just want to thank you all for flying the Blue Hawaiian today. I hope you had a good time and a good flight. I got to see a cool sight from the air, especially on a beautiful day like today. And we'll be back at the airport in just a few more minutes.
To the sky, cause the world is not so pretty. Free myself from worries so I can see it's just a beautiful day. It's just a beautiful day. You could be sad, but I'd rather you not be. Don't dwell on the negative, just the positivity. And it's a beautiful day. It's just a beautiful day. We're always trying to satisfy these wants and needs. Take you some time for that inner peace. When your eyes are open, you see things differently. There's so much gloom hiding the reality. It's a beautiful day, yeah, 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 take a look into the sky, take a look into the sky, keep your head up high, take a look into the sky. I take a look into the sky, cause the world is not so pretty. Free myself from worries so I can see it's just a beautiful day. It's just a beautiful day. I could be sad, but you'd rather me not be. Don't dwell on the negative, just the positivity. And it's a beautiful day. And it's a beautiful day. We're always trying to satisfy